important when it comes
okay.
to such games.
All right. Let's switch gears now. We're still talking about sports. Let me bring Tunde, into it now. Let's talk about chess industry in Nigeria. The same problem we have with similar problems with that. You know, a lot of people don't pay attention. But the chess industry in Nigeria, what can you say about it? Is it alive and kicking, or is virtually non-existent?
Well, when we talk about the chess industry in Nigeria, we'll talk about the chess industry outside Nigeria in relation to
what
obtains in Nigeria. And outside Nigeria, you find people who literally feed on chess. People that make chess boards and sell, people that organize chess tournaments, competitions and things like that. And the players that play...
And the branding too.
Exactly. So one way or the other, you find out that chess in Nigeria is just growing one way or the other, because you find a couple of people coming in to make chess alive in the country. I actually have a source who told me that there's going to be a chess league in the country very soon, and those are actually good developments for chess in Nigeria.
Okay, so what needs to be done? This one you just talked about, I mean, seeing kids, this is good, starting from a early age. Maybe we can get a Kasparov from some of these kids.
A grandmaster.
Yes, but what should be done? What should be done?
Well, right now, I believe that players are actually passionate about the game, and because of that passion, a lot of us have taken chess into schools, and we're actually developing ourselves. And one thing that majorly needs to be done is sponsorship. The chess industry in Nigeria needs sponsorship. But apart from sponsorship, we have the players that really take their time to travel to places just to play chess. And because of this, you find out that people that hold major tournaments like the Akwa Ibom tournament that was held last December, it gathered a lot of players from all around the country. Some people even came from outside the country to come and play, to participate. And this is a very good development for chess in Nigeria. But the fact still remains, we still need more sponsors to push the game to the heights that it can be.
Let me bring Joachim into this. I mean, does it kill motivation when you like a particular sport and you can't make a living from that sport? You just talked about what some of those players will pick up playing in that. Does it kill motivation?
Definitely, because one of the things that drive anybody, whether it's in sport or in anything, whether you enjoy it or not, why do people go to school?
To make money.
They go to school because they want to earn a living from it.
Okay.
People go through 5 years, 6 years in university.
Put themselves through a
lot of pressure just because they want to earn a living from it. So that is the same thing that applies to even when it comes to sports. Most of the sportsmen go through all the rigor and the pain just because they feel they can earn a living from it. Unfortunately, today in Nigeria, you only have a situation where the best you can get in most of the sports is when you are employed by the sports association or by the sports council. But that is not good enough. People should earn a living wage from their activity in any sport.
Let me ask you guys this: why can't the associations provide a platform for these athletes? Like you talked about engaging them, giving them, I mean, something. Why is it so difficult, chess association, a darts association, to organize events, organize competitions that some of these players, I mean, can't make a living from? Why is it so difficult?
Well, I would say that personally, I believe that sponsorship, it all still boils down to sponsorship. When we have a body that is standing, there needs to be something that will push it. Without something pushing it, there's no way it will move. Law of motion.
Okay.
So, well, that's just my opinion. I don't know if...
Is there any other thing to it?
Let me tell you. Let me ask you a question. For what reason will someone put out his money just because he wants to develop a sport? It's unrealistic.
Okay,
true.
The sponsor does not bring his money to grow a sport.
Unless he gets mileage from it.
Yes, say he gets mileage from it. Except that CSR. But you know, sponsorship is a marketing function. And it's big. So because sponsorship is a marketing function, nobody's going to bring his money and say you should come and develop. He's going to use to develop a sport. What you have is the sport is developed. Then the sponsor comes to ride on that opportunity, make his mileage from it, activate on it, and makes his returns. Because that is what is important. Now, the greatest problem we have, you know, there's a problem, they said, I don't know whether it's for the black man, but for Nigerians, I know. They say if you want to hide something from a Nigerian, guess where you should hide it?
In a book.
Hide it in a book. Unfortunately, some of these sports that we're talking about, snooker, darts, chess, and all those precision sports and mind sports, they are all, they have to do with the brain. They are things that you have to reason about. And you know, somehow, we hate to reason. And so definitely it is not attractive. So for me, I think one of the greatest challenge is how do we get to encourage the government to invest in development?
That's key.
It is the government that must invest.
They have the financial muscle.
Yes, because they're investing in university education. They're investing in primary education. So they must make it a rule, a policy, that the school sports must be active.
Must be
alive.
alive.
It is not football in schools. Because right now it's just football in school. Every child from primary level to university must acquire a sporting skill. Every child must be exposed to almost all the sports. Because it is when these children have acquired
they get enlightened.
Yes, when they get to a particular skill level in their various sports, that is when you now have a situation where those who are interested in investing in these sports can come and invest in this sport for the betterment of what? Of those people who have acquired the skill and for their own betterment personally and for the betterment of Nigeria.
Okay, well, before we wrap things up, let me just allow you guys maybe your closing remarks. In spite of what you have just said, in spite of the problems that you have highlighted, let me start with Tunde. In less than a minute, what's the way forward?
The way forward, I believe, is, okay, the government should get involved in chess and the bar sports. These sports will develop the country, whether they believe it or not. Okay. That's the truth. This chess in itself would develop the country one way or the other, because when you have people playing chess, you have people thinking, you have people that are creative, and they don't have to depend on whether there's job somewhere or something like that. They create jobs because they are creative.
Okay. All right. It says the government must be involved. That's the only way forward. I don't know if you have any other thing apart from getting the government on board.
I believe most sincerely in professionalizing sports.
Yeah, okay.
I believe most sincerely in professionalizing sports, because that might be an additional incentive for these young boys and young girls. They'll be willing to sacrifice, even though the government does not invest in the development process. If they see that there's an opportunity, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that there's professional sport at the end of the tunnel, they can invest their personal
chances of
time.
making a living.
I remember when I was young, my parents really gave me good whipping just because I was always out there playing football. But we were not playing football then because we wanted to become professionals. We were just playing football first because we love to play football. And that was when I picked many of these other games which I talk about here today. But going outside the country, I now saw that men, oh men, you got other sports that are played professionally at higher level. And I'm dedicated to bringing some of these sports to Nigeria, even at the professional level. And that's what we're working on.
All right. I know that if we continue, there'll be a lot of things to say. But, of course, we have to wrap up the show. We are pressed for time. Let me thank you guys for finding time to come on the show. And hopefully we'll see you again next week.